There you are. Alright. Trying to kit bash these weird little cultist guys worshipping my kit bash that I've been working on. And been watching Trent's videos a lot lately, and he's been saying to mix green stuff with milliput. So that's what I'm trying right now. I've never done this before. I've just never felt the need to be honest with you. The milliput is a lot softer than my green stuff, so I'm like hoping this will actually mix together because it's pretty crumbly right now. Okay, I have no idea if this is in frame or not, so I'm gonna point down a little more. But basically, I'm just gonna kind of smush this around here. Put some super glue down. I'm just gonna kind of smush this around. Something like that. And I honestly don't even really know what I'm going for, to be honest with you. I think I want my main guy to kind of sit so the blood is going to like come down like off of this guy's skin and stuff, come down into here and pour here, and maybe they're adding their blood to it. Yeah, that would be cool. So like they're offering, because see how their hands are cut off? See that? I don't know if you can see that or not, but how their hands are cut off. So they're offering their blood to this ritual or something. Yeah, I like that. I kind of like the, you know, I'm very inspired by the kit bashes telling the story, you know. So they're adding their blood, and it's like coalescing in there. I need to take that big rock out of there. I thought I wanted that rock in there, but now that I'm thinking about it, I don't want it in there. And they're like communing with, who knows, God, fucked up spirits, maybe something weird. And then I want that channel to flow like this. And then I want this whole base out here to be like a pool of blood. Yeah, I think that's going to be really cool. So now I'm going to pop them off really quick before it sets completely. And I'm just going to add some little super glue dollops. Okay. So now that guy's super glued in. Now time for the supplicants. What's another good word for that? Those who offer. Parishioners, maybe. Worshippers. Something here. I kind of use that indentation to line it back that way, that composition. So now, and now, I'm not sure what else I'm going to do with this, but yeah, that's it for now. There, with a little cross and some bits. So you can go pretty far with just a little bit of green stuff and some. That was pretty stale green stuff too, so I think mixing it with the milliput really helped it be moldable. Or malleable, I guess is the word. So yeah, I'm hoping somebody is really going to like this kit bash. I don't know if I'll post this before the send out or whatever, but if I post this before the person gets it, I won't say the key name but or I'll cut this out. But right now, what my inspiration phrase was: holy, penitent, lanky, and bloody. And I'm pretty sure I'm getting the holy, penitent, lanky part through. But to be honest with you, I think to get the bloodiness through, I need to paint it. So that's why I'm kind of doing this so early, because this isn't due for like another 3 weeks, because I really wanted to get the kit bash together and then to paint it and then send it to the guy. So yeah, so pretty exciting. Okay, a little bit of progress on my kit bash for Secret Santa. Really liking it so far. This is going to be the channel here. I dug out a little bit of a channel, and I don't know if you can see that, but there's channels from these guys. They're like proffering their blood to some ritual or something, and all the blood will combine and flow down here. I want it to be sort of reminiscent of the Hellboy, whenever they kill that guy and they summon Rasputin back, like rising up, like this guy, maybe he's rising up out of the giant pool of blood or something. That'd be cool. But yeah, just Milliput and green stuff all mixed together, and you know, some shenanigans, some chicanery, one might say. I put it on a 65mm base, so it's pretty big. It's chunky. So yeah, gonna keep sculpting. Just recording for posterity's sake. This is my Secret Santa kit bash for the Inrush Retrust. Just scored before I prime it. I'm pretty happy with how it's going. And used a lot of different bits, plastic bits, sculpting, resin bits I 3D printed. If you want to know, I got the main body of the guy from Bestiarum, as well as these little supplicant guys. The hands and bones and stuff, that's from, and these heads on the side of the cross, those are from the Wargames Atlantic Dead Animal Bits kit. And then obviously the green stuff is hand done by me. And I don't know where I got that mace bit or flail bit, I don't know. And the guy on the back that is having a great time, this little happy lad, that's from Idols of Torment. It's the Vile Totem, I believe. And it was really fun to print out. Here, let me try to get that to focus. Yeah, I don't know if I can do it more justice than that, but... And then, so I got this guy. So yeah, here, let me zoom in a little more. So I got some custom sculpting done, and I have a bit of a channel dug out there. So I'm really happy with how it's turning out, though. So yeah, now I'm gonna prime it. Yeah, so I'll see you when it's done. It's truly amazing how much the kit bash can come together with just a simple base coat of black primer. All the details really start coming together. Just look at this guy. My sculpting doesn't even look half bad. Like, shockingly. You can actually see the detail that I left in there. It's pretty cool. Very happy with this. And this guy, dude. Oh my gosh. With a ZENITHAL on that bad boy, it's gonna go crazy. Okay, I'm gonna try to show you the process I use for ZENITHAL highlight. I'm just using a white primer. I already primed black, but it should be fine. I do this because the primer is kind of thicker, so it doesn't run as much into crevices. Sometimes I can have a bit of issues with this primer where it will have like a capillary flow action and go into the recesses. If it starts doing that, it usually means it's too thin. So I like to at least give a first pass with it straight out of the bottle. And then, yeah, see, that's pretty good. I gotta do a really light dusting here like this. So for now, let me hit my in focus. Yeah, that's in focus enough. Let me maybe zoom in a bit so you can see a little better of what's going on here. Sorry, I'm using my gimbal, so if the shot is dog shit, I'm sorry. But essentially what I'm doing is I'm having my airbrush completely over the top at about this sort of an angle. Let me zoom out a bit so you can see better. At about here, right? Because I want it to hit the zenith of the model, right? So I'm going to zoom back in. Maybe let's do that. So you see I'm holding it above the model. I'm about 8 to 10 inches above the top of the model, and I'm just going to test on my hand really fast. All right, we're good on my hand. So I'm going to hit the model from the top. And I'm just going to kind of spin the model in place and hit it from the top there. And I'm changing the angle ever so slightly. If you can see kind of where that cone is coming from, ever so slightly to a more, instead of from the direct top to a little bit of a tilt. But I really don't want to go more than like, God, 15 or 20 degrees. Like, really, I just want to make sure the main spots are hit. So, sorry if you can't hear me over the air compressor. I just realized it's probably super loud to you. Then I'll kind of just stop and take stock for a second. So let me see here. Yeah, it's looking pretty good, and it gets all that detail. Yeah, that's nice. But I do want a bit more light on the face here, and a little bit more light hitting the backs of those supplicants, and maybe just a little bit on these faces. And more light on this guy on the back because I want him to be pretty bright as well. So what I'm going to do, test with my hand again. Yeah, we're good. I just do this because I'm fixing to cook dinner and I don't want to cook dinner with primer all over my hands. But if you don't give a shit, it's acrylic paint. So your mileage may vary. I'm going to just come real gentle, and I'm barely pulling back on because it's a double action. So you push down for air, pull back for paint. I'm barely giving it any paint. Like I'm pulling it back, maybe that much, right? I'm just gonna barely. Am I in frame? Yeah, barely just gonna brighten that face up a bit. I don't know if you can see that on camera already, but just gonna really hit that face because that's where I want the focal point to be for the model, and I might hit the hands just a little bit, just because those are another focal point for the model. I'm gonna hit these little hung heads, but at a more top angle, so they're like a lot more freaky looking. Same with this head. See, that really brightened that up, if you couldn't tell. And then I'm gonna hit these supplicants just straight from their back here, and I'm gonna come down a little lower with it. Just really trying to hit the tops of those supplicants' backs and the hands. Just a little bit on the hands goes a long way. Because this is all going to get pretty bloody down here. Because that's one of the keywords they gave me. And then last but not least, it's kind of tilted towards you at an angle, so it's harder to see that action. So I'm just going to come from here at about this sort of an angle, maybe a little higher at the guy. Again, I'm barely pushing down on that paint. And I've already brightened up so much. Like, I don't want to push that too much. And I'll get his hands, because he's nailed, and his feet. And then I want to really come in and just hit the face, like about there. But obviously I'm further back up. And then barely just a little bit more on the face. And that's nice and bright. But I still have the definition in that rib cage. The definition in the rib cage and the striations of the skin there. This is definitely, if I was even monetized on YouTube, this would definitely get demonetized. But see, and then I still have the shadows here. baked in, but I really want to, hit that. So I got the cross, got all his little details and everything. Sorry, I'm trying to keep this in frame and still talk at the same time. Let me see. Just let me do this. Yeah, so trying to keep this in frame and talk. But yeah, so we got there. We got the bones. Maybe I'll hit that bone a little bit. That's plenty. I don't need that super bright. I don't want to detract from. There's already a lot happening with this kit bash. So, but I'm really liking this composition of threes here with the triangle from the supplicants to the face of the main figure. This triangle here, and then the triangle of the hands. And it's like balancing those two triangles. The lower triangle. So, it's a lower triangle like that. And then the upper triangle. It's a bigger triangle as well. But I really like that triangle composition because I think that, gives the piece like a lot more staying power, and it like draws your eye up to the face. In my opinion, it draws your eye up to the face of the figure. And then for this, I didn't really need to really super focus on the composition of the back because it's a circle, and we're really tend to look at the center of circles. But, this circle, I mean, especially with this spire, the sculptor, whoever did the sculpt for Idols of Torment, I'm not exactly sure who did the sculpt. They did an amazing job with the composition on this because this is on like a pedestal. I cut the pedestal off essentially. And yeah, so, but that'll draw people's eye plenty of drawing. So, very exciting. I think I'm going to base coat now. In my tendency, I think the colors I'm going to go for on the skin and the tone is like pale green blue, kind of like the communicant art for Trench Crusade that you've seen a lot of people do, like this pale blue or pale magenta tone. I'm thinking of that. And one of the best paints I have for that would really do a good. I'm trying to think here. One of the better paints I have for that would be Murder Scene, I think. And I would just need a little bit of it. I really wouldn't need a ton of Murder Scene. But it's one of my favorite Army Painter speed paints because it has this really saturated red tone here, but it's also kind of purpley. It's a very good color. I love this color.